Hello and welcome to Sports Talk right here on Love 101, the family station. I am Daniel Blake. Thank you so much for joining me. It is Saturday, February 4, the first Saturday of the month. Uh, I don't know about you, but January went by pretty quickly. I feel like because it was just last week I was saying welcome back to Sports Talk for the year, and now we're in February. So yeah, time's moving pretty quickly. But thank you so much for joining me wherever you are. If you are listening in Jamaica or if you're listening in anywhere across the region in the Caribbean, North America, if you're listening in Europe, Asia, Africa. I don't know if I have anybody from Oceania or South America listening, but if you are, I truly appreciate it because I know you could be listening to other things and watching other things, but you choose to join me here on Sports Talk. So it is truly appreciated. By the way, you can listen and watch the shows in several different ways. If you are on your smart device, you can go to YouTube or Facebook, and I am live. So hello to everybody on YouTube and Facebook. Remember to download the Love 101 FM app in your Google Play or Apple Store. Download it and you can hear everything here on Love 101 live, and you can also listen back to a lot of the shows, including Sports Talk. So that's a pretty cool feature for you. You can also go on your internet browser, love101.org, or if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, if you're in Jamaica, turn on your radio, go to your FM band, and it's 101.1 to 101.9, depending on where you are on the island. So a lot of different ways to listen and watch. So we certainly have you here. Today we'll be doing a very special feature. Trishana McGowan, award-winning sports journalist, a friend of the show and a friend of mine. She did an interview with renowned track and field coach Stephen Francis, world-class track and field coach, I should say. And yeah, he has a lot of medals in his bag. A lot of medals. He has produced world-class athletes, and he doesn't do a lot of interviews, but you know, I know that people have been asking and messaging and so forth. So I approached Trishana, and she was okay with it. So this is the radio premiere right here on Love 101. So you'll hear him talk about, you know, the state of track and field, moving on from Shelly and Fraser Price and Elaine Thompson, who we know he helped to reach several different heights throughout their career, no longer with them. And, you know, he just talks about, is he contemplating retirement? So much things. So after the 1:15 break, you will hear the radio premiere, the exclusive radio premiere, right here on Love 101. You hear what that sound fancy? So thank you, Trishana. So we will hear from Stephen Francis and Trishana after the 1:15 break. You will also hear my monologue very shortly after I do my mini sports report. But I would just like to say, remember, the is the monologue award nominated? Well, yeah. So because of my weekly monologue, the Danielog, I was nominated for a National Journalism Award. And those awards take place later this evening. So next week, I'll let you know if I win or not. No, if I don't win, I'm not going to make a no. No, I'm joking. But I will let you all know because I know that you've been sending a lot of positive messages here on the WhatsApp line, which I will tell you the numbers to very shortly. And, you know, to me personally and everything. So I will let you guys know how it goes. If I win, so it go. If I lose, so it go. But I'm just truly grateful that, you know, people like my opinions. Not that you must live for people's approval, but yeah. Let me not start all preachy. 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. That's how you can interact with me throughout the show. Or if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, leave it in the comment section and I will read it live on air. So you can even comment on things that you hear during the Stephen Francis interview, which we will play after the 1:15 break, and I will ensure to read it. All right. So before we go into my monologue, let's start with the sports bits, which, as you should know by now, is our mini sports report. So let's start with track and field. Five-time Olympic gold medalist Elaine Thompson-Herah won the women's 60 meters at the Karsten Warholm Invitational in Norway earlier this week. She clocked 7.30 seconds for the victory, slightly slower than the 7.15 she did at the Queen's Grace Jackson Invitational last week. Meanwhile, reigning 200-meter champion Shericka Jackson will be on track later this afternoon for the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix in Boston, which is part of the World Athletics Indoor Tour Gold. Jackson will contest the 60 meters, which will also see the likes of 400 meters world record holder, 400 meter hurdles world record holder, Sydney McCocken-Levrone, 60 meter world leader Alia Hobbs, and former sprint hurdles record holder Kendra Harrison. Other Jamaicans in action include Commonwealth champion Janieve Russell and NACAC champion Akeem Blake. Now, despite the rainy conditions, the West Indies had a fairly bright first day in the first test against Zimbabwe. Only 51 overs were possible, but the Caribbean side closed at 112 without loss. Captain Craig Brathwaite and Tej Chandapal both are unbeaten on 55. The second day is expected to start at 3 a.m. Jamaica time. It's Jamaican Andre Coley's first match in charge of the West Indies since being named interim coach following the departure of Phil Simmons. Reggae Girls captain Khadija Bunny Shaw has pulled out of the team's Cup of Nations tournament later this month in Australia. The country's leading goal scorer with 55 goals told the technical staff she would be unavailable due to personal reasons. In an interview with the Jamaica Observer, head coach Lauren Donaldson says he respects her decision and that they will have to make do without their star striker. The Reggae Girls will play world number 7 Spain on February 16, 28th ranked Czech Republic on February 19, and host Australia on February 22. The Jamaican women are preparing for this summer's World Cup beginning in July. And Jamaica's under-17 team, that's the male team, will play a friendly match against Trinidad and Tobago this afternoon at the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex in preparation for the under-17 World Cup qualifiers later this month. The teams will meet again on Tuesday at Stets before heading to Guatemala for the qualifiers, which begin next week. The young Jamaicans have been drawn in Group C with Costa Rica, Cuba, and Guadeloupe. Only the top 4 teams from the tournament advance to the World Cup in Peru later this year. I know that I just skipped over some cricket news, and that sports time, the Jamaica Scorpions needed 191 runs for victory on the final day of their regional 4-day clash against the Leeward Islands Hurricanes. Scores in the match: Leeward Islands 260 and 241, Jamaica Scorpions 234 and 77 for 4, needing 191 runs. And finally, for the first time in over 15 years on home soil, Team Jamaica will begin their Davis Cup 2 playoffs this afternoon against Estonia at the Eric Bell National Tennis Center. The country's number 1 ranked player, Blaise Bicknell, will battle Estonia's number 2 seed, Jürgen Zopp, which sounds a lot like Liverpool's manager, Jürgen Klopp, but maybe this is the Estonian version of it. While Jamaican number 2, Randy Phillips, will face Estonia number 1, Christian Tam. The return singles and doubles matches will be on Sunday's final day of the 2-day championships. The winners of this round of the playoffs will qualify for the 2023 Davis World Group 2. So that was your sports bit for this week. And it is time for this.
Connection established. It's time for Daniel's weekly monologue. I'm Ariel Brown Blake,
I'm Dave Blake.
I'm Hope Blake.
I'm David Blake.
and it's time for the Daniel Log.
The Daniel Law.
The Daniel Love.
The Daniel Log. I will love it. And I think I deserve it.
Good afternoon to Judine and Nicole who have sent in messages so far. And by the way, you heard Davidton Blake in that intro, my father. Good afternoon, Dave. Hope that you're feeling much better. So, in prep school and even high school, I was terrible at art. Absolutely terrible. Not even drawing a straight line. I can literally show it for the people on Facebook, on YouTube. I don't want to do this on the log, but I literally can't draw a proper circle line. I couldn't color in the box, all them things there. That was just not one of my greatest talents. God never gave me that talent. So I remember, when was it? Second form? My art teacher wanted us to do a portrait of Mona Lisa. Now, everybody knows what Mona Lisa is. One of the most popular artworks ever created. And my art teacher felt, yeah, you guys should try and do a portrait of it. Now, if anybody has seen the Mona Lisa, you would know that it is one of the hardest pieces of work to try and replicate. There have been a lot of like phony ones in the past, like people getting arrested because they've been trying to sell Mona Lisa portraits and all those things, right? So remember, Daniel is averaging maybe 40 or 50% in art, which is a failing grade, by the way, because I just can't do it. But I really put out the effort. I went to my art teacher and just, asked for some help and advice, and she told me what I can do and everything. So after I did it and I showed my mother laughed me to scorn, right? If you bring it up today to my mother, she would laugh and laugh and laugh. This is my mother, who's supposed to be giving me encouragement. But I thought I did such a great job. But after hearing my mother laugh at me, I was just like, okay, this is really terrible. But I ended up getting, I think it was like either a 65 or a 70, I don't remember. And I was so pleased with myself, coming all the way from averaging like 40s and 50s to getting basically almost a 70 for one of the hardest things to replicate was amazing. And some other students who had a real talent in terms of art, we ended up getting the same grade, or I got even higher than some of them, which was actually incredible. So it made me feel even better, because I was like, even though I didn't have that art talent, the mere fact that I put in the work and I got there, it was great. So ignoring my mother's laughter. I say all that to say, because we will hear from Stephen Francis very shortly, there are people who will have more talent than others, but sometimes talent isn't enough. If you don't put in the hard work, you're never going to get there. And I think Stephen Francis has shown that. The fact that you look on Shelley and Fraser Price, you look on Asafa Powell, Elaine Thompson Hira, Melaine Walker, I could go on and on, because the world champions and Olympic champions, world record holders that this man has produced is incredible. But these weren't super talented athletes at the high school level. These weren't the ones going to champs and having an entire, section of the stadium chanting their names or anything like that. They might have gone to champs, but them losing either the heats or the semifinals, or they were just on the cusp or anything like that. And Stephen Francis and these athletes really put in the work, and their lives have forever changed. And we have seen some of our athletes who have dominated at champs and even in other sports, and things haven't worked out so well for them. So, if you are listening, if you are in sports or in any other aspect of life, just because somebody might be more talented than you, it doesn't mean that you should just give up or think that you can't reach a very high level at what you want to do. It's been proven time and time again, not just in track and field. We've seen it in football, cricket, tennis, basketball. We see it in everyday life with entrepreneurship and with a lot of skills, and you just need to put in the work. No, I'm not saying that if you put in the work, you can reach a very high level, because sometimes if you don't have it, you just don't have it. But if you know that you even have like a 10% of that talent, work on it. Show yourself that, okay, I could get to this level, but I can't get any further. Surprise yourself. And who knows? Success might be on the way for you. So keep working hard, keep striving, keep doing it. Don't worry about other people and thinking about, oh, them better at this than me and that. Don't watch that. You can do it. So work hard and things will work out, hopefully. That's my monologue for this week. And somebody who works very hard, Stephen Francis. You will hear from him very shortly, as well as award-winning sports journalist Trishana McGowan in our special feature right here on Sports Talk on Love 101. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, I'm Ashley.
I'm Jakal.
I'm Victor.
I'm Chantel.
And we are
The Pulse Podcast.
You can find us every Saturday at 7 p.m. on Love 101 FM JA's YouTube channel.
Yes, 7 to 8 p.m. And ensure you follow us on social media, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram.
At The Pulse Podcast JA.
The Pulse Podcast, your weekly source of authentic, Jamaican, faith-based, creative content and edutainment.
About culture, creative expressions, and games. This is the Pulse Podcast.
Sunday was made for reggae. Love.
February is Reggae Month, and Love 101 is joining the Jamaica Reggae Industry Association, JAREA, with the celebration of sweet Jamaican gospel music on Sundays. All music Jamaican. Yup, folks, it's Reggae Sundays for the month of February as we celebrate our Jamaican gospel artists. Salute them, the man. Come clap your hands to the various sounds of Jamaican gospel music. It's Reggae Sundays, all music Jamaican, every Sunday in the month of February. Reggae Sundays is on the family station, Love 101.
To sing it, gospel reggae, to worship Him and speak.
Hey, get ready for an inspiring time inside Love in the Morning with me, your host, Jakal Dyer. This Monday, February 6th, 5:30 a.m. is Becoming You, a feature that shares tips on how to become the best version of who you are. Then, grab your cup of coffee and start the day right with Morning Coffee Pick Me Up Devotional at 6 a.m. It's Black History Month, and to celebrate, we'll share our pick for Person of the Week, and each day we'll share a snippet of this person's life. 7:30 a.m. is Being Jamaican. We chat about all the unique things that make us who we are. 9:30 a.m. is Something More, brought to you by the Faith Cathedral Deliverance Center. Can you guess who this week's Person of the Week is? Well, to find out, stick and stay with us. This Pick Me Up Monday inside Love in the Morning, 5 to 10 a.m. on the family station, Love 101.
No, I see it done, have a couple.
101.1, 101.3, 101.5.
101.7, 101.9. Love is all you need.
Welcome back right here on Sports Talk. It is 1:20 p.m. right here in Kingston, Jamaica. Now, world-renowned track and field coach Stephen Francis, who has done wonders in the sport with the likes of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, Elaine Thompson-Hera, Safa Powell, Tajay Gale, Melaine Walker, Sharon Simpson, Nesta Carter, Michael Frater. Look, the list is extremely long. So he spoke with Trishana McGowan, award-winning sports journalist, recently, just about a lot of topics, and you're going to hear from them very shortly. It is the exclusive radio premiere right here on Love 101, where he talks about, as I'm saying, talk about enough things. So let's hear from Trishana and Stephen Francis.
Been doing this for so long, and you have continuously, I'm sure, want to see the sport grow and get better, not just on the Jamaican soil, but overall for track and field. But let me start with our local product of track and field, administrative-wise, the talent. What's your current view of where we are in 2022?
As far as talent is concerned, I mean, I don't think I don't think we have a talent problem. I think that we have good people. They might be not as appealing to the eye as others come before. The guys not as fast as Bolt or Blake or Sybil, but I mean, I think that if you are running 10-2, 10-3, 10-4 in high school, you have a very good chance of running well under 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You know,
As a senior,
within three or so years. So I think we have a constant supply of good talent among the men. We certainly have. I think it's not as good as among the women, but I think a lot of the female programs have overdevelopment issues. But there are still good women there, and so I think that if we have a good program locally, and we have a good system. Some people go to school overseas, others take the chance to stay here, whatever. Then I don't see why there should be any great drop off in achievements or results. The problem I think is that the support from the federation, I think, has gotten drastically worse. I mean, and it's highlighted, I think, by the fact that, for example, we used to be able to depend on 5 to 6 meets between May and
June
and June before the trials. Every Saturday, people could go out and run and so on. Now somebody has told them that it's a bright idea to not keep a meet unless you're giving away money.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, and they have these Jubilee and Destiny and that kind of stuff, which quite frankly, are unnecessary. They have reduced the available opportunities for people to run. It is against the reason why those meets the all-comers meets were developed in the first place.
Yes.
So I think we have lost our way there. I think the J3s must be able to find a way to market their sponsor, whoever it is that put on these meets, while making sure they keep the development concept of making sure we have opportunities to run every weekend. And if not, but I mean, now that we see how it has gone this year, I think next year MVP will put on meets every week. to make sure that everybody has a chance to run
Yeah.
on a weekly basis.
Because, I mean, you can understand them wanting to give away money to help athletes. So
But they don't work. I mean, it doesn't work because the people who they're probably going to give it to, they don't really
need it.
The people who are going to get it don't need it, and those who get it probably won't be it does not affect your overall performance at the end of the day at the top level. So that doesn't mean that they shouldn't give the money out.
No, I understand.
Right, but what it does mean is that you have to be careful that in itself is reducing your chances of getting medals and opportunities to compete for the athletes who are training, and what they really need at that time of the year is competition, not dollars. You know, and so, but there must be a way to merge it for them. So I'm saying I'm proposing to the MVP people that look, let the JHAs focus on giving out money, and we will focus on putting on meets, so that people can compete on a regular basis.
Yeah, but that's what they need, especially at
that is what our athletes need, and I presume that's what all the other athletes need as well.
Yeah. What has been a disappointment for you? Because when you started out MVP, you spoke about the lack of support during the time of Asaf until he broke that world record. How much development have you seen from the federation that you can applaud and wish that they would have maybe built on it, but they haven't?
I think the problem with the federation is that the main problem with the federation is that I think they want to do well.
Yeah.
But they don't know what to do, and they don't ask advice. Right? So there are certain things which they do which they feel must be good, but if they were to consult with myself or Mr. Mills or Mr. Wilson, they would realize that no, there are a lot better things that you could do. You know, and so it's not a matter of them not being well-meaning.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of these are technical issues, and technical issues need people with experience and who are involved in the thing to come up with the ideas, or at least okay the ideas that you have brought, who you have come up with. You know, the J-Trails I think tend to have their technical people as those people are in high school. Those people coach in high school, and it's not the same thing as trying to compete at the international level against the best in the world. So but so they're well-meaning, but they need to reassess, revamp their committees, the technical committees, get proper technical experts on the committees, remove some of the high school focus on it, right? And so we can have something which can properly blend both the high school and the seniors.
Yeah. World stage of athletics. Are you pleased with the progress being made? The continental competitions, the Diamond League. Are you pleased with where the sport is in terms of that level of competition and IAA?
To be honest, I thought that under the current president of the IAF, of the World Athletics, Lord Coe, that we'd have seen a big jump in the status and the financial success of the sport. I mean, it is hard to blame him or his administration because of the intervention of COVID. However, I can say that I have not seen anything different under his regime so far. And I'm hoping that now that the world is becoming more back to normal after the last 2 years, that we can see some programs implemented to change the sport, to make it more modern. I mean, there are certain basic things like, advertising on clothes and being able to get individual athlete sponsors who will be able to get something from the athlete.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. Being able to organize the Diamond League and World Continental Tour circuits in a way that fans can follow.
From all over the world.
To promote fantasy.
Yes.
And to put statistics in a way or in a form that will mean people will follow the scores, the times, and so on.
Sure.
Those are the kind of things I think that they need to pay attention to, as soon as possible, because those are the kind of things which are crucial to making sure that athletics can compete with the other sports, which are more visual, are more tense in terms of two teams. Well, mainly football.
Football.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But there has to be a revamping of the whole way the sport is presented, in terms of what the figures mean, allow the figures to be something that people can follow and can bet on.
Yeah.
And so on, so that you can get far more
track and field fans.
Track and field fans
So become attractive
to following it. I mean, you have to go down the path of gambling. You have to make sure that if you produce a product that people can bet on.
Yes.
And it must be worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
At this stage of your career, as a coach, you've been doing this for so long. Do you still get excited?
I love. My passion has always been in bringing new talent or new people to the fore, and as long as that's not to say I'm not serious about developing or improving the people who are already established, but the new ones tend to bring me a little bit more excitement.
Be hungry for success. Yeah. You sometimes come across controversial, but I've always said to people that I don't think that your bite is as bad as your bark. Do you think that there's a misconception about you in terms of, because you just say it as it is?
No, well, I can be very diplomatic. When it needs to, but sometimes, in Jamaica, diplomacy tends to lead to. It is hard for people to understand, to do self-examination and understand that they are doing something wrong.
Sure.
And Jamaicans always see themselves as experts
at everything.
At everything. And in fact,
everyone is a coach.
And in fact, they know nothing. So sometimes you have to say, look, you all don't know nothing. You're talking rubbish. Here's what you should do.
Yeah.
Right? But other times, if the stakes are not high, you make it slide. There are certain things which are fundamental, which you can't avoid.
Yeah.
I can't allow anybody who would be the J3s or anybody else to tell me how and when to prepare athletes to win medals. To me, for anybody to even think that, to me, is disrespectful, right? And they clearly have hit their head somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? Because based on the success that our program has had over the years, it should be you coming to us and saying, yo, what do you need? How do we get it? How can we help you?
Yeah.
Not you trying to tell us
what to do.
What we should do. So therefore, in cases like those, I have to say, look, just to tell it as it is. But there are other times when the consequences are not that great, and you leave it alone.
You spoke about your level of success. You and your team at MVP, because it's a team.
Yeah.
You're like the Popeyes KFC. You know that there's a secret ingredient, and people can't stop go to them to buy the food, but they won't give out their secret. But they'll tell you, come and buy. What makes you the greatest track and field coach? Because people label you as that, whether you want to take that title or not. What is it that you do differently, you think, that has resulted into your success over the years?
Well, I tell people who ask me that, I tell them that I believe that the main difference between myself and most other people, or people who I've observed in this in life, is that I never believe that I'm right.
Okay.
And, even at anything I believe now is only temporary. But I know it's going to be wrong, and it will be proven wrong at certain points in time. So you're always seeking to better what you do now, because of the feeling or the knowledge that, okay, what you have been doing so far is total rubbish, no matter what the results have been.
Okay.
Right?
So you're always open to
so
learn.
Always learning, always changing, always always thinking about improvement.
Yes.
About changes.
So you're never satisfied with.
No.
Yeah.
You know, so that is what I think. I mean, you know, because our program has come from where it was in 1999, 2000 to now, which I think is vastly different, which hardly anything the same. We still have certain areas like discipline and so on, which we find very important, so which we keep. But I think that we have always tried to make sure that we give the people who train with us the best possible chance, which means that we know we have disadvantages. We don't have a proper and nice looking weight room.
Yeah.
Right? We have a bumpy field up at UTech where we train the majority of the time. I mean, sometimes the grasses were too high, and so on and so on. But given all those things, we try to use those things to try to develop the best possible outcomes for the athletes.
Yeah.
And one of the things I always tell the staff and do it myself is that, look, it makes no sense you complain to anybody because nobody's interested. Everybody has their own problems, and it will never be an excuse. Excuses are not acceptable in this line of work.
You have to do what you have to. What you have to do.
Yeah, you know, and we have gone through enough painful championships. Last one being 2017. That we understand that, you know, this you do everything to try to make sure that things are what you are close to what you expect.
Yeah. Who recruit people on social media and all over the world, right? So I traveled once before, and somebody said they're a coach of football in Portland, Oregon, and they're like, I'm obsessed with Stephen Francis. How does he do it? How do you spot a regular young lady or a young man and say, based on how them are running now, I feel like so they can maybe be the next best thing? What do you look at and assess and say, if I'm to get that athlete, all being well, like you said, you know, putting things in place, maybe, what is it that you look for?
I do look for people based on how they look and how fast they run, but I have been involved in, over the last 20 years or so, and we have developed enough people who nobody gave a chance to realize that, you know, the most important thing is their desire and their willingness to be disciplined. I believe that our program, based on not only my opinion, but based on the success rate that our program has had, is probably certainly one of the best around.
Yeah.
And that once you have some talent and you are willing to do the work and have the discipline, then you will develop to your best possible level.
Yeah.
And so therefore, we don't think it is necessary to go out and go after the latest guys who run 10-1 and 10-2 and so on, because we have developed quite a number of people who run under 10, who run under 10 seconds. What the time they came to us, we were running 10-6 or worse. So, you know, I'm not saying that you can convert an 11 flat guy into a 9-9 guy, but I'm sure that if we get guys who run 10-5, 10-6, so on, we will do a good job with them and probably surpass those people who were a lot faster than they were.
Yeah.
Similarly, I mean, young Shakoria, well, she's not so young, but Shakoria, I mean, she never did.
And that's Wallace.
Athletics at all.
Yeah.
You know, and even though her future is not going to be as long as like a Shelley, but she will have a decent future as a sprinter in the near future. And you know, so which tells me that, you know, you don't need to go after the girls who run 11-1 or
guys who running
whatever
10-1. Yeah.
Right. We just need people who can run, who believe that they can run, and who are willing to make the sacrifices and to do the work that we ask of them.
Do you get nervous around trials or major championships and the athletes about to hit the track? Do you get a little nervous?
No, because the system that we use at MVP is such that we pretty much know how everybody's going to perform.
Okay.
Long before, and that is not necessarily only based on what they did on that day, but what they did and that day compared to last year or times
Before.
So I mean, but so there are very very few times that we have surprises.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So it's just a matter of it being a confirmation of what we expect.
Yeah. You spoke about Shelley and Fraser Price just now. So you have had a number of athletes over the years that depart the club before they go into retirement. Do you get heartbroken when that happens, or you understand it's a business?
No. It is. Look, I told you already that my passion is to develop new people.
Yeah.
Now, if I still had here Elaine, Shelley, and assuming Sharon was still running, and then there would be no pathway for new sprinters.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, there's no way I can have. We also lost Christiania, who had run 10 something. And
Julian
Natasha,
Ford,
who had run 10 something. So we had 5 carry.
Mm-hmm.
So we have had 6 or 7 women who have broken 11 seconds. But now, currently, we only have 1, 2. Mm-hmm. So now there's room for the other young ladies to come forward. We have about 3 women who are at 20, 21, 22. And those who we expect that by next year will be at that sort of a level. Mm-hmm. So, in sport, talent must turn over. You must turn over talent.
Yeah.
You cannot allow stagnation. And while it is not easy for Barcelona to lose a Messi, for example.
Yes.
Right. Eventually, you have to go on, you reform, and you then try and outdo what you did when Messi was around.
Yeah.
And that is how sports fans should look at this. Most fans follow football where people leave clubs very, very regularly. Mm-hmm. Your best players leave.
True.
But you develop others and get others who will replace them, and this is how I see it.
Yeah. Any young talents out there in track and field, no competing, not just maybe at the high school level, but sticking to the senior level that you're impressed by, whether it be male or female athlete, that you're like, whether you're coaching them or not?
No, I mean, I have reached the point at this moment that, and it's a lesson I learned very, very early, that, the times you run and the races you win, they count for nothing apart from at the very, very top. So in other words, no matter how well you are, you until you challenge for medal or until you win medals at the
global,
very top level, level, then so therefore, and winning medals at the global championship has nothing really to do with how good you may be.
Yeah,
it's pretty much your ability to come back next year and do the same thing. Right, and that leads. That a lot of people miss there. I've seen many athletes who come out and do something one year, and by the next year they're not so good, and by the year after that, not so good even.
Yeah.
You have got to focus on winning at the very top. And
that's
so
the main goal.
That is the main goal of the sport as it currently is constituted. And so while there are people who you would admire, it is tempered by the fact that, what you're really looking at really are the people who do deliver the medals and who win.
Yeah. So before I let you go, you have been doing this for so long. Do you think retirement, because people will want to know that, do you think retirement Let me ask that first. Do you think retirement? Does Stephen think like, maybe get another 5, 10 years or you just
Well,
go when you're tired?
I guess, I mean, anytime you can't get up in the morning and come to practice, or you don't want to travel anymore, or, then I guess that's it. But yeah, at the moment, I'm still enjoying.
Okay.
As I said, because I have a constant stream of young people,
Yeah.
you tend to be extremely interested in what you're doing, and it matters more to me, for example, how one of those young girls run than some of the older athletes. Even though the older athletes are running at a world class
Level. Yeah.
But so I mean, after the trials, now we focus on those world class people. Right?
Are things in place if you should walk away, you're comfortably, be walking away knowing that MVP, the baton will be carried on very well because Jamaicans and the world will start panicking and say, Lord, for this and the panic.
It is hard to replace persons in an area such as coaching.
Yeah.
Because a lot of coaching is individual. The individual personality,
yeah,
work ethic, and so on. So even it's not about having a program or having a system. I mean, that is part. I mean, somebody else can come in a system and they perform very poorly doing the same things. So you inevitably will have difficulty replacing good coaches. However, what you want to do is ensure that overall that there are systems in place so that other people have a chance to develop. You don't want everybody to be able to develop, to have to develop like how I did. By trial and error, by taking huge risks and so on, without support. You would love if there are other people around who you can develop. You can help themselves develop, help them to develop so that you will have some sort of system in place that will develop proper coaches.
Yeah.
And because right now, I think that there's a huge coaching problem we have in Jamaica.
In track and field?
In track and field. Very, very, very.
But we see Walcott, we have Akil Stewart, Michael Freighter on the rise, others.
As I said, we have, when it comes down to the what I mentioned to you as the crucial issue in the sport, you're winning medals at the top level.
Okay. Yeah.
You're still down to Mr. Mills, Mr. Coleman.
And Stephen Francis. Yeah.
So therefore, what a part of the problem that we have is that there are a lot of young coaches who believe that because they have athletes who run a couple races fast, that that's becoming important. I remember when I first was on the scene, and I had Asafa. And I remember when Asafa ran 997 and 995. All right, and one of and I was of course on top of the world,
as you should be at that time.
One of the shoe companies executives said to me, "Coach, let me tell you something. That don't mean anything.
Yeah.
If you can't win the Olympics, you are irrelevant." And that stuck with me all the while, and because that's
what they look for.
That is how cutthroat this thing is.
Yeah, and many people don't see it as that though.
No, they don't know it. But they and so I am acutely attuned to the fact that what counts are these major championships, and sometimes, a lot of times, having people running fast outside of those situations is not good. It's not in the interest to help those, in the interest of those athletes
Yeah.
to win at the major championships. You have to
Yeah.
time. It's nice to run fast,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to run fast at the proper times and be able to
Yes.
beat people
Yes. When it matters
when it
most.
matters most.
Yeah.
And that is so. I don't think those lessons are properly learned.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, a lot of coaches, I think Mike is doing a good job with Titans. But as I say, it's easy for anybody to develop one person.
Yeah. Yeah.
What we want to do is to see whether or not you can develop that person further,
Yes.
and also if you can do it again with somebody else.
Yeah. Repetition is important as well. Yeah.
That was renowned track and field coach Stephen Francis talking to award-winning sports journalist Shoshana McGowan on a wide range of things in regards to track and field here locally and internationally, how he, spots talent and just a whole lot of other issues. If you want to leave some comments on some things that he may have said or your thoughts on Stephen Francis in general, you can do so 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. Or if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, you can leave it in the comment section. So we're going to read some of those after this very short break. We do have some business to complete. So please stay with us right here on Sports Talk on Love 101. We'll be right back.
Wayne, you know Flo Yardan Road now faster than ever?
Yeah, my brethren just get it.
Him love it, though.
Especially the 200 megabit speed and getting a Samsung tablet or phone for $999 plus GCT. You know he got the phone.
So, you coming home now?
Right after I pass the board.
There's never been a better time to get the invaluable value of Flo Yarden Road. Sign up and get fiber fast internet at home, unlimited social, YouTube, talk and text for just $4,999 plus GCT. And save big on a Samsung phone or tablet. Conditions apply.
It's Love 101's 30th anniversary under the theme 30 years of music, family, and love. The celebration has begun with the 30 Days of Love Challenge.
It's day 21, Saturday, February 4. Hand out random notes with nice things to family or strangers as you pass them.
Sunday was made for reggae. Love.
February is Reggae Month, and Love 101 is joining the Jamaica Reggae Industry Association, JAREA, with the celebration of sweet Jamaican gospel music on Sundays. All music Jamaican. Yup, folks, it's Reggae Sundays for the month of February as we celebrate our Jamaican gospel artists. Salute them, the man. Come clap your hands to the various sounds of Jamaican gospel music. It's Reggae Sundays, all music Jamaican. Every Sunday in the month of February. Reggae Sundays is on the family station, Love 101.
To sing it, gospel reggae, to worship him and
Less than 7 minutes to go before we have to leave. It's here on Sports Talk. Remember, we're going to read some of those comments right now. If you still want to leave some, you can. 876-997-3125. 876-997-3125. That's our WhatsApp number. If you want to leave your comments on what you heard, anything Stephen Francis said during that wide-ranging interview done by Shoshana McGowan, you can watch the full interview on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. So why may I promote our thing then? Well, she did give me the bus. So yeah, so go on YouTube and subscribe to Shoshana's channel. Watch that interview, and she has some other interviews there, and she has some more to come, so you can watch that. All right, so let me start off here with Nicole, who says, respect due to Stephen Francis. He has done so well from the start of the talent from Peter Gay Dowdy and others. Ariel says, love this interview, and let me take this opportunity to formally congratulate you on your huge nomination for the Press Association of Jamaica Award. Thank you so much, Ariel. Caroline Says congratulations on the nomination. Hope you win. Thank you. I had previously watched interview on YouTube. Please tell when the interview was done to help other listeners put he said in context. So that interview, I believe, was done in July of last year, or maybe June. So it is not super recent, but it's recent because a lot of the things he talks about, aren't time specific. So even if he did it yesterday or 2 years ago, it was still very specific. But I know that people have been asking about people like Stephen Francis and Glenn Mills here on the show. So I reached out to Trishana and she was willing to, allow us to use the content. So thankful there. Anthony says the greatest coach of all times, Glenn Mills and Stephen Francis. These two stress discipline, and I'm here for it 100%. Ricardo Morris says Stephen Francis is the greatest coach, hands down. Great interview. Someone says I've not always liked Stephen Francis's manner, but I've always respected his coaching acumen and his intellect. This interview has made me more appreciative of his manner. Someone else says good points made by Mr. Francis. I think Coach Walcott and Freighter will eventually find the formula as they seem to be on the right path. Renardo Walcott and Michael Freighter there. Some other comments. Let me just read this one. Says, what a coach this man. Both him and Mr. Mills are phenomenal. Simply the best there ever is. Jamaica must cherish them because they are special. And this one says, give the man his roses. He is the best track coach in the world and best and most decorated coach in the history of Jamaica. Let's be honest and truthful. Kemoy is asking, what makes Stephen Francis different from Glenn Mills? Why should I allow Stephen Francis to train me versus Glenn Mills? I mean, everybody's different, so it's just like buying food from this restaurant versus another restaurant. It don't mean say one food is necessarily far greater. I think that you're just going to have your preference in terms of style and everything. So Stephen Francis has his style, Glenn Mills has his style. So both of them are world-class coaches. So, I mean, it depends on whatever you prefer. I don't know if you are an athlete, Kemoy, but if you plan to choose, I mean, you can't go wrong either way. So yeah, so you're pretty okay. And then Carolyn says other coaches have stepped up and produced world championships since the interview. Have they? I know that Akeem Blake is a NACAC champion, so Michael Freighter has produced a regional champion. Yeah, and several others. So yeah, so great interview done there, and hopefully throughout the rest of the year we'll be hearing more interviews like this. Hopefully I'll do some of my own and that we'll be able to get these not just these top coaches but top athletes and hear their side of the story, how they train, their success and all that. But that is it for today on Sports Talk. Thank you so much for everybody who tuned in, who left comments and everything. We truly appreciate it. Remember to tune into Sports Talk every Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. right here on Love 101, the family station. Please enjoy your weekend, stay safe, and as always, watch some sports.